How do you know if people can see? Come on, you've done this before.
People can hear me just now.
Oh, 22 people. Yay.
It's okay. I've got stage fright, folks. This is live on Facebook, so that's great. Great to see that we're
Thanks,
getting some
Haley.
comments. Can you all hear me? Let's get a comment. Come on. It might take about 30 seconds, no doubt.
Well, they must do, because I said, can they see us? And she said, we can see.
You can see, but can you hear?
Geez, I hope it's not only 40 people doing the race.
It's gone quite low. Numbers have gone from 180 down to 40. Oh, 48 we have. Brilliant, brilliant. Any higher? Fingers crossed. Some of these people might not even be part of the race. That's the thing. It could just so hopefully
I don't think you've got any fans from the podcast. I don't think people are tuning in just to see you in your stupid Chewy hat.
One thing I was going to do, folks, was going to do it via Zoom. I've decided to do it via Facebook. There was a thing I was going to share, but I don't know if it's going to let us. So I might have to stop and start the video, but we will bear with us. This is all very new to me. I usually do it via Zoom in the podcast. Brilliant! I've just saw all the responses. There's yes, yes, yes. That means you can hear. Brilliant. Okay, right. Well, it's 2 minutes past 7. I'm going to give folk another minute before we start and do our intros. But yeah, I hope you're all here. 60 of you now. Once I get to the mark of the numbers that are running, I'm going to start. Okay, so we need to get to 80 runners, at least 80 runners. 61. Come on, folks.
It's not a bidding war.
It is not a bidding war, is it? All right. As you can tell, I'm a face for a podcast, not for live streaming.
So I'm just here to stop you rambling like on your podcast so that people can have their dinner and go to bed and rest up for the race.
Well, there you go, folks. One thing I will say is, it's a wee plug for Tartan Running Shorts podcast. If you don't already listen, have a listen, folks. In your long runs, obviously headphones aren't allowed on race day, but, it'd be great to get you on board the Tartan Running Shorts podcast. We interview folk from the back of the pack all the way to the front of the pack, Olympians, past Olympians, ultra runners, you name it, they're on it. So have a listen. You can get it on all podcast platforms, okay? 70, come on, another 10 people.
Why don't you introduce yourself while you're waiting for 10 more?
Right, we're going to start now, okay? 73, right. Once I do my intro, we're going to be at the number that I'm happy with. So yeah, as some of you may know, I'm the new Speyside Way Ultra Race Director, and my fine wife here is the Assistant Race Director and the COVID-19 Officer. So it's great to have you guys on board, and I'm going to say this is the first year I've taken up this role as race director, and little did I know we were going to run into all these issues. It's been it's been a rough few months for certainly not just myself, but the runners as well, and my wife as well, having to put up with me. This is why I've got a hat on, folks, so that the hair that's left I can cover. I'm Kyle Gregg. I'm the race director this year, and the reason I took the race up really is first I've got a real passion for event organising. In the past I've organised the Santa Run, and in the last few years, I was also going to be organising the Baker Hughes Running Festival as a race director. Unfortunately, that didn't take place because of COVID. So, this is one of the races, and I've got a massive passion for ultra running too. And I've been lucky enough to race around some amazing places around the world. European ultras, I raced Tarawera, but also some of the amazing Scottish ultra races.
That's New Zealand.
Like the Highland Fling, which I was lucky enough to win one year. But I've also had my as well as my ups, I've also had my downs as well. I must have been the back of the pack for the Hardmoors 80, which is a couple of years ago. So I know what it's like to be at the front and also to be at the back. And both experiences are just as good as each other. So yeah, my wife is also, although she hasn't done an ultra race, she's actually ran the whole Speyside Way ultra, but just not in a race situation.
Not by
She
choice,
is
I was forced.
she is a professional Ironman and professional triathlete, so she does have a real experience in event management, races, long distance races, and she's also a runner herself, a sub 3 hour marathon runner. So hopefully she'll keep. I say hopefully, she's definitely keeping me right. I think the roles should be reversed.
I'm the boss.
She's the boss, and I'm the assistant boss. Well, I'm the assistant race director, but. Yeah. Anyway, as I said,
Rambling.
I am absolutely rambling at the moment. But now that we've got over 80 runners, we will start the race briefing. So yeah, the last few weeks, the last few months has been really rough for many of you. And a lot of ultra races and a lot of races have been canned and postponed. Our race included has been postponed from August to November. Luckily, we have got the all clear to race on Saturday, but there's been a lot of sacrifices. A lot of runners unfortunately haven't been able to take part because of the current restrictions, which I really do feel sorry for you. And yeah, hopefully next year you guys will see you all next year, and we'll be able to do more races. With COVID, hopefully COVID's out the window by then. But yeah, anyway, so everyone who's here, thank you so much for coming along, listening to the race briefing. We are going to have a recording of it, so if you do get bored, just feel free to bugger off and come back and listen to what we've got to say, because it will be important. There's some important information in there for everyone. So, some of the changes to the race schedule that we have.
Am I able to get that up or no?
No, we can't get the race schedule up. We probably can, but my technology on live Facebook is very unfortunately limited. But what I can tell you is, if you go into the Speyside Way race website, you can download the runner's handbook that's been updated today, and half an hour ago, with the new, obviously the new restrictions. So you can see, essentially what you can see on that is, the updated information. You'll also see your name on the list if you're eligible to run. So what you'll have is you'll have your name, your wave number, whether or not you took the bus or not, your bus number, the time that the bus departs, the time that the bus arrives at the race start, and also the time of your race start as well. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Have a look at like I say, it's on the homepage of Speyside Way, the Speyside Way website. Open it up, check where you are, your name, your wave number. You need to know that information, folks. You really do need to know that information before Saturday. It really relies on you to know that. So everyone will be emailed who's taken part. Make sure that you know your number. Take a snapshot of it, take a screenshot of it, whatever you do, because your race number will be at the bus. So as you enter whatever bus you have, you'll be given your race number, and then you'll jump on the bus. That's literally the registration this year. It's nothing fancy, unfortunately.
While wearing a mask.
And also make sure that you wear your face coverings as well. All this is in the handbook as well. You have to wear your mask. You have to sanitize your hands before you go on the bus. When you're on the bus, make sure that you sit at the window of each of everyone will have their own row. Okay, the bus is a 52-seater bus, and there's only going to be a maximum of 24 runners in each bus. Okay, and that's all 4 buses. The last bus will only have 12 runners in it, out of that 50-seater, so you'll be all well spaced out. The toilets won't be open, unfortunately, so you're just going to have to hold it in for an hour 15. We have been speaking to the bus company to try and get you guys to stop, a halfway stop, so that you can, do what you need to do. But the buses aren't stopping this year, unfortunately. They're going to go straight to the race start. The time to get to the start line from Bucky High School is going to take an hour 15. That's max, so it could be a little bit earlier, it could be a little bit later. What we will do is we will allow some time from when you get off the bus to when you start the race. But what we're going to say is that you have to you have to be race ready when you get on that bus. Okay. You can't be taking any clothes. You can't be taking any, your holiday kit this time. It's literally when you get on that bus, you're race ready.
Yeah, we're not, just to be clear, we're not having a bag drop this year. Some of you might hate that. It's making things a lot cleaner. You're only going to be, on a heated bus or a normal temperatured bus for the duration, and as soon as you come off, you've pretty much got 10 minutes and then you're going. So yeah, we've made that decision just to again stop as much touching as possible. So no bag drop.
Really important that you know that, folks, because we won't be taking anyone's essential items back to Bucky. Okay, so just make sure that you have everything ready, and hopefully the thing about ultras is it's self-support. This one is self-supported. You should have all your kit ready to go. You're going to be nice and warm on the bus, as Debbie said as well. For those who are lucky enough, well, not I say lucky enough, for those who are dropping their loved ones or their family, whoever it is dropping you off at the race start. Again, the same thing applies to you guys too. So just bear that in mind as well. Grand. Okay. What's the next thing we're going to chat about?
You've rambled about a lot.
I've rambled a lot, folks. It's been quite stressful. I'm not going to lie. Like, I've got a beer just to calm me down today. So, and just to lighten the mood, folks. It's a windswept beer, and everyone who's running, if you complete the race, you're going to get a bottle of this, okay? And for those who haven't completed it, there'll be a discount code that will be mailed to everyone too.
Okay, so we've talked about the waves. That's for those that are getting the bus. And as Kyle said, that you do need to anti-back before and after. We will be providing anti-back at loads of locations throughout the race. There won't be bag drop. For those of you that are being dropped off at the start line, you will get your bibs then.
Yeah, that's right. So anyone who isn't on the bus, if you're getting dropped off, there'll be a little, I say a marquee, it's not going to be a marquee, it'll just be a wee, a seat and a table, maybe some shelter for the volunteers, and they'll hand you your bib number.
So that's important, so you don't go to Bucky anymore.
Yeah. So
you're going straight to Cragganmore for your allocated start time, and the cars, as soon as they arrive, they cannot park. They just drop off and go.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. So anyone, if you are getting dropped off, the spectators, family cannot be parking at the area because the buses need to get in and out. It's really tight. So the moment one bus comes, it has to turn around and it has to drop the runners off, and then it has to go to allow the next bus to come. The benefit of the way some of you might already see the schedule, the wave schedule and things. Each of the buses aren't going to arrive at the same time. They're going to arrive as per the wave starts. So bus number 1 will leave at 5:30. Is that right? Yeah. 5:30, and then the next bus will leave at 5:45 and 6 a.m. and then 6:15 a.m. and that's in accordance with the race starts as well.
So only your bus will be at the start line.
Yeah. So basically, if your mates are in bus number 4, you're not going to see them.
Unless you're on bus.
Unless you're in bus number 4. So,
but if the cars are dropping off, so there's going to be a car drop-off only wave that's going to go off at, is it 6:45?
Yeah, 6:45.
So anyone who's being dropped off at Cragganmore, remember, you're not going to Bucky. You need to get your bib on time for a 6:45 start. But again, everything will be in the updated handbook.
One thing I'm going to say about obviously plans can change. We've put the schedule out there now. That's not going to change, So if anyone wants to run with someone else, there's not enough time anymore, folks. It's been I've organised races and events before. This one by far is the most challenging.
We don't know what sleep is anymore.
We don't know what sleep is anymore. Well, like I say, she's the race director. I'm the assistant.
So planning this plus having a baby is no sleep.
Aye. Anyway, no small violence, folks. So just so that you know, make sure that when you jump off the bus, you've got about 15 minutes to get ready. So in terms of the toilet side of things, again, I'm going to pass this over to Debbie here, and I'm going to input. with the toilet situation, there is a toilet at Cragganmore, but we have to be really strict in terms of who uses that toilet. If you can, go into the woods. Make sure that you bring, toilet roll. Make sure you're in the 60 worth miles of countryside. Any other ultra, big some of these ultras, there's no fancy portaloos and things like that in the middle of the race. So just make sure that you adhere, make sure that you sanitize your hands, make sure that you bury away the waste products, dispose of them appropriately. Do what you need to do. A circle of trust. Whatever you need to do, make sure that you do it.
And to just explain ourselves, sorry, we have tried. It's been quite it's been a really struggle to try and get these porta potties. They wanted a dedicated wiper. Neither of us were going to do that. We will provide wipes for the single porta potty that's at the facility. Remember, there's only going to be 20 people on the bus?
Yeah, there's only going to be about 20 people on the bus. So the time you come in, just make sure that if you need to go for number two, go for number two in the potentially the porta potty or wherever you're going to go, and make sure that you sanitize. Make sure that you do what you need to do to make. I'm rambling.
Yeah. There's a 24-hour toilet at public toilet at Bucky, that's quite near the start line. Google it. The buses, unfortunately, we've had a little fighting match with them trying to get them to open their toilets because that was told we were going to get that before, and they've said no now. We have been on the phone to Murray Council to find out if the Craigellachie toilets they're open dusk till dawn. We asked them what that meant. They said they didn't know. So when we tried to hire porta potties, that was literally down the pan, figuratively.
Yeah.
So we're going to provide wipes. We're going to have hand sanitizer. We're going to have bin bags. Please just, I guess, you're ultra runners.
Do what you need to do, folks. So that's the toilet situation. That's the toilet situation. Timing system. So obviously there's waves. And with the waves, so I'm shouting at you. I don't mean to be shouting at you. The waves, they're going to be. Don't worry about your time. It will be timed appropriately. So if wave number one's at 6:45. If you're at 7:40, don't worry. You're not going to be able to. Your time will be adjusted accordingly as well. I do note there's a lot of questions coming in here. So I will try and answer them, but I'm going to answer these questions at the end just so that. Yeah, I'm not missing any of them as well. So, do you want to go for the route?
I don't know. Did you just mention the timing system?
Yeah, I mentioned that.
And then the prizes. We'll just go through this and then we can.
Yeah. Okay.
So, prizes. Those of you who are first and overall, you will get your prizes at the finish because that'll be easier to manage. All age group prizes, your prizes will be posted out to you just to minimise traffic at the finish line. Like we said before, you've got to wear your mask at registration, and the queue for the bus. There won't be a queue for the bus. On the bus, at the start line, until the start goes off, at the aid stations, and just before you cross the finish line, put it back on for crossing the finish line and in the finishing area. Where was I going with this? Yeah, to ease the congestion at the finish line, prizes will just be posted to the age group winners. Aid stations, we would do that.
Yep.
So aid stations, I think before it used to be Aberlour and Spey but correct me if I'm wrong. This year it's going to be there's going to be two official aid stations at Craigellachie. Just as you come out of Craigellachie before you go on the winding road up towards Benagan. There'll be an aid station there. Again, minimal refreshments, water, and some snacks. We're just trying to keep it simple. There'll be anti-bac there. Please wear your masks at the aid station. There'll also be another one about the marathon point, which is Fochabers. There's going to be a couple of people there, and it'll have the same sort of thing. Again, we ask that you bring your own food and water to last you the race. But yeah, we will have those aid stations. I think there's an informal one up the top of Benagan that's a tradition. So you might, if you're lucky, you might get Iron Brew. But if you want that, bring your own cup because we've said no touching.
Yeah, I don't know if you mentioned. Sorry, I was trying to multitask, folks.
Didn't work.
Didn't really work. But bottles, there will be bottles of water that'll be given to you, and that'll be up to you to do that yourselves. Once you pour the water into your own flask or soft flask, whatever you're using, make sure that you dispose of your bottle from
Yeah, we'll
there
have bags.
as well.
Yeah. Okay. There won't be a briefing at the start line. That's still, well, I think it said 6:45 in the handbook, but now listen to this. Watch back to our ugly mugs before race day, so you remember.
If there is any urgent, information that we need to give you guys, we will do that at the start line as well.
Yeah, Kyle will be at the start line.
I'll be at the start line.
I'll be at registration.
We're lucky enough that there's only going to be 12 runners per wave, so at least maximum anyway. So we've got enough time and space to shout at you and give you any information that you'll need as well. Okay.
Mandatory kit is, I think you changed it a little bit in the updated version. I think it was there will be checks on that too.
Yeah, just as always, as any ultra, there is mandatory kit. Just with the
also because it's November.
The mandatory kit, folks, it is minimal kit, so just make sure that you take that to heed as well. It's really, really cold, and if you end up getting injured, you're going to have potentially a long way to walk. But the mandatory kit, folks, is you must have a face covering with you, an emergency foil blanket.
That can be a buff.
That can be a buff as well. Apparently the Speyside Way ones are, would you say they were?
Oh, they're extra protective.
6% faster or something? Extra protection. That's not true. Waterproof jacket as well. That's mandatory. Minimum of half a litre of liquid. I mean, that's minimal. To be fair, it's a long way just to run off half a litre of water. But as we say, we have got aid stations that you can stock up from there.
And in between, there's some burns that we used when we recce'd the course.
There is, yeah. So you potentially use them if you like. The other thing to mention, this is new, that make sure it's mandatory, but we can't police this. Make sure that you've got enough food to fuel your race. Now, the reason that I put it as mandatory is, it's a long way to go without enough fuel, and the aid stations are last resorts for folks. Emergency food as well. Make sure you've got emergency food too. So yeah, have a read of that in the race handbook as well. Okay.
Withdrawal during the race. If you're going to withdraw, please, I guess, find them. There are marshals scattered throughout the course. Tell Kyle or myself, the numbers are on the handbook.
Yeah.
Before just leaving, we need to know, just because when we do the sweeper and we've got our tick list and everything, we want to be as safe as possible, especially in the unfortunate events of, was it last week?
A couple of weeks ago, yeah.
Yeah, so we are going to be strict on that. No support. Well, we do encourage support, but no support as in pacing or off-site fuel that we don't know about.
Yeah, the runners this year, folks, as I've mentioned, you are all self-supported for this year's event.
No dogs.
There's no dogs, no external assistance of any sort. Just make sure that it is your responsibility to make sure anyone who's coming along is aware of that. But yeah, like we mentioned, spectators, family, they're very welcome to come and cheer the runners on in various locations. But again, just adhere to social distancing measures. On the note of support and and spectators, the Mash Tun in Aberlour have kindly invited any spectators to go along and get a free takeaway. What, a free takeaway? Cup of coffee, tea.
Biscuit. I think they're doing rolls.
Yeah, I think they're going to chat to walkers, get yourself a wee bit of shortbread. They might do a roll or so, and it's all free. I don't know if they're doing a charity thing, but it's really kind of them. Feel free to go along after you've dropped off your loved ones or anyone else who might be, having spectating.
And will they be open throughout the race? So there's not going to be a...
Yeah, they'll be open throughout the race. There's no party as such this year, unfortunately, but hopefully next year there'll be a bit more of a race party for some of the events.
Wait, so how did we go from withdrawal to support? Tell a marshal or phone Kyle or myself. what was I about to say? Oh, back to marshals. If you can thank the marshals, they've kindly volunteered to help us in these horrible, horrible times. We need them, and they're risking their safety, I guess, to be near people they don't need to be near. So just be nice to them, please. The race wouldn't happen without them. And
You
if
get
you,
extra points if you say thank you to every single marshal and volunteer.
well, the
There you go.
marshals should also have a prize for being the most supportive. We should have a little
Yeah,
vote
there
at
we
the
go.
end.
Yeah.
The Tallahassee one did that, eh?
Yeah.
Every
yeah,
aid station,
cool.
we had to vote on the best aid
Yeah.
station. Right, and for those of you who are at the back end of the race towards the 9 hour cutoff, if you are in the last wave and you are pretty sure that you're the last runner, if you please tell each marshal I'm the last runner, that also helps them just not be freezing in the cold.
We should have a sweeper though.
Yeah, we will have a sweeper, but
thanks to Pete Devlin, but fingers crossed, he might, he can keep up with them. So.
And us, we'll be clearing up at the end of the day as well.
And then the following day, no doubt as well, during the night, it's going to be a long 24 hours. Yeah.
And so I guess you'll get at the finish line. We didn't mention this for every runner. You will get your medal. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's a cool medal.
Are you gonna say what it is?
No, I'm not going to tell you what it is, folks, because you need to finish the event first. But I'm quite happy with them. One thing I'm going to say though, so that to avoid disappointment, obviously we ordered 150 odd medals, and there's less runners doing it this time. Fortunately, I haven't put the dates on them, so yeah, just be aware.
Spend your pound getting them engraved.
If you want to, don't complain. You're lucky enough to get. I'm not going to be not beating around the bush. You're lucky enough to get a medal this year, but make sure that there's if you want to add the date, you get a wee scribe or a wee sharpie and put 2020 on it, or you can get engraved as your.
But they're really cool, so definitely aim to finish to get that.
Yeah.
You'll get your beer, and we're also going to email out some discount codes for you.
Windswept, courtesy of Windswept, who are the beer sponsors, which is great beer, folks. You're also going to get a discount code sent to you soon as well via the mail-in too. And
for also the Mash Tun, and also for Active Root, our other sponsors. So that's your
fingers
your
crossed
goodie
that
bag.
yeah, fingers crossed the Active Root powder sachets come along, because you'll get some of them at the aid stations too, folks. So they haven't arrived yet.
You calling them folks, don't you?
Sorry.
Anyway. So going on to, are we going to go the route?
Yeah, so I think we're going to go on the route, but I can't share the screen. So what I'm going to do, folks, is I'm going to close this one down, unless there's a way to do it. Hold on, let me try. I don't think there is.
Does anyone know?
Well, yeah, so before we close it down,
Why don't we answer some questions?
Yeah. No, let's do the
sorry.
route first. So the route, folks, is it's going to be, it's already marked. Even if we don't mark it, it's already marked. But there is some certain, when I've ran it a few times now, there's certain times where you kind of scratch your head a little bit. Well, I do anyway. I can get lost around a running track, but it's clearly marked. It's point to point. Just make sure you've got a GPX file on the website as well. So any of you guys with fancy pants, Suntos, Garmin's, Kodos, whatever they're called, even your phones could no doubt take a GPX. So make sure that you upload the GPX. That's the current route, and you'll be able to follow it without. Obviously look where you're going to, so you can follow it that way too. There is going to be bright, luminous yellow signs posted all over the course as well to keep you right. There's going to be additional COVID signs as well at the start and finish, just to keep you guys right. And ensure the social distancing, good hygiene measures. So what I'm going to do now is, I can't share the screen to show you the route, so I'm going to close this one down. I'm going to reopen a live one, okay? So bear with me. If I can.
Still us.
Still us. If I can. End live video. Let's try that.
Okay.